Hi everyone, how are you on this Monday afternoon? We hope you're doing fine. Max and I are here, and we're here as always to do some fun science experiments with you. So, sticking with the theme as always with kitchen, we are going to use the following ingredients from our kitchen. Salt. And this is going to actually be our main ingredient today because we're going to do 3 experiments, but it also could be little tricks with the salt as the major ingredient. You're also going to need pepper for one part, and then we also have 2 raw eggs, as Max can see. So the first thing we're going to do,
and water.
Oh, and we have some water too. We'll get to that part. So part 1, again, 3 simple experiments you can do with salt. We're going to play with the salt and the pepper first. So I have a plate that you're probably going to want to do. You could also just do this on your countertop, but a plate is actually easier for cleanup. So what I want you to do, if you notice, we're going to sprinkle some salt in our plate, and I'm going to show you that. Not a lot, just some. And then we're also going to take the pepper, and we're going to sprinkle some pepper on top of the salt. We're not going to mix it together. We're just going to sprinkle. Now, you might eat food that you often season with salt and pepper. Here, we put the salt and pepper on our plate. So I hope you can see that. So what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to play, excuse me for 1 second, with static electricity. Now, we know electricity comes from the lights in our house. It runs our refrigerator, a lot of other items in our house. So that is generated through wires and cords. But static electricity is something that we can create on our own by rubbing something together, such as your hands or maybe a sweater, and you can create a static electricity shock. Sometimes your hair can create static electricity, especially when it's cold outside. Or maybe you've been going down a slide at a playground and you hear a crackle as you go down the slide, and then you feel a shock on your skin. That is static electricity, and it's created by friction and rubbing something together. Now, here's the question. Will I be able, if I create static electricity using my spoon as my conductor, and my conductor is the energy, will I be able to pick up the pepper out of the salt and make it stick to my spoon? What do you think, Max? Max says yes. So what I did, we're going to rub the electricity. We're going to rub the spoon on this wool sock, and then we're going to pick up the pepper. So Max, do you want to rub? And what I'm going to do too is we're going to hold it up. You want to look really closely. We're going to bring our phone closer. We're moving around a lot today. All right, so Max, you see the pepper. So I want you to rub your spoon, and then I'll hold it. Nope, first you got to rub the spoon on the sock.
Oh no.
Really rub hard. So Max is rubbing as much as he can to create that static. And then watch carefully, because now he's going to hold it over the pepper really closely. And hold up the spoon, Max. Did it stick? And if you notice, the pepper sticked to the spoon. So you might not be able to see it that well on what we're doing, but again, we created static electricity, and we got the pepper to jump onto the spoon because the static was attracting it to the spoon. Now, why does this work, and why did the salt pick up? Well, we've talked about things being different weights. The pepper is definitely lighter than the salt, and that's why the static electricity from the spoon made the pepper lift and stick to the spoon. So that was experiment number 1 with the salt. And remember, that was our main ingredient today. We're using salt. The next one we're going to do is we're going to see if we can float an egg in a glass of water. What do you think, Max? Will it work? Max says yes. So this is just plain water from the faucet. And now this egg is not cooked. You could cook it if you wanted to, but I'm gonna carefully take the egg and I'm gonna place it in the cup, the glass, and let's see if it will float.
It's actually gonna sink.
And guess what? Say that again, Max.
It's gonna sink.
It's sunk. The egg is not floating. But my question is, if we added salt to the water, do you think we could get the egg to float? Max says yes. So what I did before we started is I dumped a bunch of salt in this glass. So let's pour it in the glass. And again, we want the egg to float. I'm adding. Now what I want you to do, Max, is I want you to carefully give the glass a stir with our spoon. And Max is gonna stir without splashing, Max.
It's overflowing.
It's overflowing, Max says. But if you
The egg
notice,
to the top.
guess where the egg is now?
Kind of in the middle.
It's starting to float because what's happening, now you probably can't see, however, I'm gonna go like this. The egg is actually now on top of the glass.
It's more in the middle.
Well, it's kind of bobbing up and down. Now, why did that work? So the water,
More pressure.
the salt, more pressure. Well, we've talked about density before. So when we added the salt to the water, the water became very, very dense with all that salt. So the egg is floating now, and that is because the egg is less dense than the salt water. So that made it float to the top. And remember, density is a way to describe weight of liquids. So we made the egg float by adding salt to the water. Pretty cool. Now, our final trick with salt is going to be also with an egg. So, you notice that an egg is round and it's hard for it to stand up by itself. It topples over a lot. But here's our question. Do you think we can make an egg stand on 1 grain of salt? What do you think? It's kind of a trick.
What?
We're going to try to make the egg stand on 1 grain of salt. Max, what do you think? So this is how we're going to start it. We're first going to, on our counter, and I'll show you after I do it, we're going to make a little pile of salt. Like a little mountain. And this is where we're going to put, so there, can you see it? Is our mountain of salt.
Kind of blending.
Next, what we're going to do is I'm going to carefully prop the egg up into the mound of salt. So here, oh, we found a good angle. I have to tell you, Max and I are getting better and better with our camera skills every day. Now, if you notice right now, the egg is standing in the pile of salt. However, we want to move away almost all of that salt and leave it just standing on 1 grain of salt. Now Max is using a straw and he's carefully going to blow the salt away and see if he can get it to work. All right, Max, are you ready? I see our friend Adam watching. It's also important to know, okay, a little bit there. Go careful, Max, other side. This is slow. He almost got it to work.
I'm not good at it.
Well, it's okay, but sometimes it takes a little bit of practice. So Max, let's try it one more time. And then we'll let you know if it really works. This actually can really happen. You have to practice sometimes. And why does this so carefully? It's moving. All right. Should we try it one more time, Max?
Yeah,
Would you like me to do it? Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Now, why does this work? You wonder. So we talked about friction earlier when we rub our hands together. So the egg surface is definitely smooth. and the salt is rough and it has little cubes. So what happens is, believe it or not, within the eggshell, there's tiny, tiny, tiny cracks. And the shape of the salt grains gets stuck to the eggshell, creates friction, and that's what holds it up. All right, I'm gonna try this. Max is gonna hold the camera like this. Ready, Max? One important thing to remember too, no honey, if you hold it up the way I had it before, it's perfect. Over here, we're gonna get it. The other thing is really important is to make sure that your egg is not wet and the salt does not get wet. Because if it gets wet, then it gets sticky. All right, here we go. And if you notice, the egg is standing on one strand grain of salt. So see, it can be done. And as you notice with Max and I, it takes a little bit of practice, but it's pretty cool. So that's it for today, my friends. And again, salt. We did 3 fun, exciting things with salt. We hope you're doing well at home. We miss you a lot. I'm wondering, as Max fixes his hair, how crazy your hair is at home, because we can't go out to get haircuts. So I want you to be well, friends. Enjoy the sun. Enjoy this week, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us for Science Today. Bye.